gone through the Premier League era, so would have experienced plenty of it. Do you have sympathies with him, Gary?
On some things, I mean, the 12:30 kick-off and the 12 o'clock kick-off, I don't know why, and the fans at home listening to this will, to be fair, not be able to understand why there's a difference really between 12:30 and 3 o'clock in terms of players' recovery. It's 2.5 hours. What does that do? But I personally hated the 12 o'clock kick-off on a Saturday, particularly having played Champions League midweek. It always felt like your legs were never the same. It felt like you were eating pasta at 9 o'clock in the morning. I always remember Patrice Evra saying his first ever game in English football was a 12 o'clock Manchester derby at the Etihad, where he basically, they used to play 8 o'clock at night in Monaco. And there's just something that is more difficult, particularly away from home. So that I agree with. I don't know what it is, whether it's some psychological thing, whether it's a body clock thing, whether it's something that, you're warming up at 10:30 in the morning, or you're travelling to a game at a time you don't normally do. It doesn't feel the same, and it isn't as good for a player. So,
do you understand why you had to do that?
Yeah, we understand why I had to do it. It's quite simple. Particularly if you're Manchester United and Liverpool have got the highest viewing figures. We want to hit the Asia market where it's 7 o'clock at night, and Manchester United and Liverpool, we always played at 12 o'clock, let's be clear. So the point where I've got some sympathies where he says around the fact that the 12 o'clock kickoff is not as good for players. It's not. It's a fact. Because I used to feel exactly the same. You can't deny that. And I also played for a manager. And there's hundreds of these quotes from Sir Alex Ferguson that I'm going to put in here now. This is him speaking in 2009. You get these ridiculous situations when you're playing Wednesday night in Europe and then you're at lunchtime the following Saturday. You ask any manager if they would pick that themselves and there'd be no chance. This wasn't just in 2009. This was probably in 2002, 2003, 2004. Every single season, he wanted that advantage. He wanted the ability to recover more. He wanted the ability to play at different times so that it suited Manchester United. And that's what Jurgen Klopp wants now. But does he have a point in the wider context of 12? Is he being disadvantaged compared to other teams in other seasons?
He's making the point as well that this is an exceptional season.
I don't think it is exceptional. To me, it's exceptional because the players have had more rest than they've ever had before. They had 3 months of COVID, March through to, I think, early June. They then played 9 matches where Jurgen Klopp, even though he'd won the league, played all his best players when he could have rested them. He played all his best players. They then had 5 weeks off before the start of the season up to the Community Shield. In any season that I ever played in a World Cup or a European Championships, and there were 5 of them, I only ever got 3 or 4 weeks anyway. So there's more rest this year than in any year in footballers' histories. So I don't get this idea that it's a unique season. I get the fact the fans aren't in the stadium, the feeling's not there for the players. The 12:30, if you ask any fan what are the best atmospheres in a stadium, they'll say 7 o'clock at night. The night atmospheres are better than 12 o'clock atmospheres because the fans just feel more alive, more awake. But I just looked at the history of 12 o'clock kickoffs from 2002 when this fixture became something of a thing where the Premier League decided that they were going to try and attack the Asia market for football matches. It's been very successful for the Premier League, and the riches that the Premier League have is down to this, if you like, ability to play games at 12 o'clock on Saturdays and early on a Sunday. But I remember that's nearly a third of the season Manchester United played in 2002-03, in the season I played in. We were playing at 11 o'clock, we were playing at 11:30, we were playing at 12 o'clock. We played so many games in that slot. Liverpool themselves in 2006-07 under Rafa Benitez. Tottenham, Man United again, Liverpool, Arsenal. This is not a new problem. So what Jurgen Klopp is talking about has been an 18-year-old problem. Liverpool this season have played 2 games in that slot. The maximum they can play this season is 6 because that's the maximum amount of times you can be in that slot. So I don't think Jurgen Klopp's got what I would believe to be a major gripe about being disadvantaged against other teams that play in that slot in any other season. If you're successful and you're Liverpool, you're Manchester United, you're Chelsea and you're top of the league, you're the best, they want to watch you over in Asia and the Premier League will pay for that. And the Premier League, the overseas broadcasters will pay for that. You have to go into that slot. It's been the same for 18 years.
What about the volume of games then?
I then started to think about the volume of games that Liverpool are playing and thinking, well, are Liverpool... they have played a lot of games in the last few years. They've been successful in the Champions League. They've been successful in Europe. They've gone all the way with City in the league. So I then looked at volume of games, and it's games per day. And if you look at the games per day, days per game, again through history, and I'll just circle Liverpool at the bottom here. At the moment, Liverpool are playing 5.4 games, a game every 5.4 days. If you look at, again, the most successful teams who've had European campaigns, whether it be the Europa League or whether it be the Champions League, again, over the last 10, 15 years, going back to United in 98, 99, again, Liverpool are not disadvantaged. The players that Liverpool have got this season with bigger squads are being asked to play a game every 5.4 days. The maximum Liverpool can play this season, if they go in every competition the whole way, if I just remove that bit at the bottom there, is this one, the 4.5 there at the bottom. So again, I don't think Jurgen Klopp's got a point around fatigue, around the length of time in pre-season, about the Saturday kickoffs. My view is that when you become a winning manager, and this is where Sir Alex got to, that's why everyone called him a whinging so-and-so for many years, is that the best managers, they just want to win. The biggest risk to Jurgen Klopp winning the league this season is another big injury or two. So he wants to try and gain that advantage, to put some psychological thing in people's minds. Sir Alex Ferguson did it for 15, 16 years. Jurgen Klopp's been the best manager in interviews for the last few years. He's been the best manager on the pitch. He's connected with the fans better than anybody. His style of football is fantastic. But on Saturday, he got done in an interview. And that's very rare. And I think that's it. He just got done in an interview. He didn't get his story right. He hasn't got his evidence to back him up, either in games played, either in the Saturday kickoff slots. He's just lost this particular one, having been brilliant in all his other interviews that he's done.
He's trying to gain an advantage. That's what Gary said.
He's trying to get an advantage to get results. That's it.
I think you're the only person in this country who says it's not an exceptional season. You're talking like this is just completely normal. Everyone has said all the time, you've got COVID, you've got players going down with that also. I mean, it is exceptional. You can't deny it's not different as a season. Yeah? You're talking about players being off for 3 months.
What are you referring to?
You're saying like this is a normal season. How can we say it's a normal season?
What makes it exceptional then, based on the evidence?
You've got COVID everywhere. You're talking about players being off for 3 months. Players didn't know when no one knew when the season was starting. The players weren't off. The players were training. But they were at home or they were coming in earlier. Hang on, you've just had a big say on it. You know, I think Jurgen Klopp, and let's not forget, this argument starts with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Playing in Istanbul on the Wednesday and playing at Everton at Saturday morning. And when he come out and said, I think he said the authorities wanted us to fail. I looked at that and thought, no, I don't agree. No. Because we're in TV, we understand the slots and where people have got to go. And I'm the same with Jurgen in terms of saying the 12:30. We know at Sky and other broadcasters, everyone wants Liverpool and Manchester United on. But when Jurgen Klopp argued for Solskjaer, so it's not, you're talking like Liverpool have got no excuse or no reason or they shouldn't moan about this. I think the manager of Liverpool is sincere in not just thinking about Liverpool. I really do believe that. No, I really do. No, but why come out for Solskjaer? He come out and backed Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in that same situation.
Jamie, I played for a manager for 20 years who tried to gain an advantage by making this type of argument. I'm not disagreeing with Jurgen Klopp making the point. No, you say about an exceptional season. The exceptional season, you came in this building this morning, even I thought this was a shorter season with more games crammed in. I thought that this morning before I came in and looked at the evidence. It's not. Let's be clear, the teams this season that play the maximum games...
Explain to me why there's 20-30% more injuries this season.
I can't explain
exactly,
that.
Because you can't. You're not a sports science, so you don't know.
No, my point is, let's see it over the course of a season. My point is...
So Klopp's wrong, Guardiola's wrong, all these top managers talking about injuries, they're
Sir
wrong.
Alex Ferguson made this comment for 20 years.
Was there 30% more injuries?
My point is,
in that season?
James Milner got injured Saturday. He's played 2 Premier League games all season, right? And he's had a hamstring injury. Robertson, I think Jurgen made the point around...
He played 3 games in 6 days and he's 35.
Jurgen Klopp made the point around Andy Robertson, but brought him on for 30 minutes in a dead game against Atalanta where they were losing. My point
is there a point on rotation then?
Jurgen Klopp for 3 years, he's picked a very similar team a lot because, to be fair, he's had to compete with Manchester City. Those players, I remember 3 years ago making the point, I didn't think Liverpool could compete in the Champions League and win the league and compete for the league. I was wrong. I couldn't believe what they did because I did this for 10, 15 years where every year the manager was trying to rotate to try and get players fit, to stop fatigue kicking in, rotating people around, and it was tough to play 55, 60 games, keep that level of performance that you need to compete in the Champions League and the league. What Jurgen Klopp's done at Liverpool in the last 3 years is unbelievable. But his squad this season is just wilting a little bit under the fact that they've had that 3 years. There might be an element of COVID in sports science, but the rest time has been there. The games are not coming more thick and fast than any other season. The Saturday kickoffs are not coming any more thick and fast than any other season. So the exceptional points that Jurgen Klopp is making haven't happened. The Saturday kick-off times, there were more 10 years ago.
But
But there must be an answer.
There are more injuries. There are players missing because of testing positive for COVID or having to isolate because they've been in contact with people. Yeah. So should we go to 5 subs? You both argued against that last season.
I was totally against it, even when I was watching it last season, because I didn't want games to feel like those international games that we were involved in. And I also felt that when a manager picks a team, if he gets his team wrong, he shouldn't be allowed to change half of it to almost change that or fix it in some ways. I think the frustration with Klopp, and I'm with Gary on the half-12 thing, I totally get you can't move. I didn't agree with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and I don't agree with Klopp in terms of the 12:30. We know why it has to be there. But the 5 subs thing is, people question Klopp and Guardiola after the game. When they drew 1-1, Guardiola only made 1 sub and Klopp only made 2, and that's thrown at them. Why do you want 5 when you don't even make 3? I actually think that makes their argument stronger, because I don't think what I feared where the games would be a joke and players were coming on and off. I think it's only in extreme circumstances where the game's completely gone or the game is completely won, and to give you an opportunity later on in the game to change players and save players with 10, 15 minutes to go. The argument from the smaller clubs, if you like, you've got bigger squads, you can bring players on to go and win the game if a game's tight. Now, if a game's tight, when we're thinking the top clubs would bring 5 players on and great attacking players, we normally used to always say, we still believe it, that the top teams would tire the smaller teams out late on. They'd win the game in the last 15, 20 minutes. You know, Manchester United famously, certainly this year, Jurgen Klopp team get lots of late goals. But don't forget, the fatigue sets in with the smaller team. They can bring 5 players on as well. I also think for the smaller teams, when they're playing top teams, they've got to be aggressive, and they're probably not in possession, making tackles, yellow cards. You get an opportunity to bring 5 players on who haven't been booked. So, listen, I'm actually sort of with the 5 substitutions situation at the moment. I'm with sort of half with Gary on the first point, but I think with 5 subs, every other league, and the leagues you're in now with Salford and the Championship, it must almost feel like the Premier League is the only league almost in Europe.
And going back to the rotation, we did check. Jurgen Klopp did make the 2nd most substitutions in the Premier League last season.
Yeah, but he keeps the same team a lot.
And he's got to win every week.
I get that. But I voted against it in League 2 for Salford. We voted against the 5 subs, but it came in because overall the teams wanted it. I don't agree with the 5 subs. I just don't. I think that for me, it does benefit the bigger teams. I think if the bigger teams have got the bigger squads, they can rotate more. And my view is that 3 subs is more than enough. There's no way Jurgen Klopp would have made 5 subs at Brighton on Saturday, 1-0 with 1-0 in the game.
Of course he wouldn't.
So my point, well, he said he would have brought Robertson off. There's no way he would have brought Robertson off and Milner off. He wouldn't have brought Milner off and Robertson off at 1. His 2 fullbacks in a 1-0 tight game. He would not have brought those 2 players off, in my opinion. So my view is it only benefits the bigger clubs when they can save players. Just rotate more. You've got the bigger squads. Is my view. That is my view. I don't believe 5 subs should be introduced because I do want to see a more competitive Premier League whereby it is not easier for the smaller teams to actually...
So we're getting it right and every other league in Europe's getting it wrong.
You made the point before about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer saying about the 12:30 kick-off. I'm surprised he's made that point because he played in that 2002-03 season, the 12 games at 12:30. He's been through this. He's seen a manager complain about that fixture for years and years. So it's not against Jurgen Klopp. On Saturday, he just got it wrong, his points.
I just think we're almost accepting... And it's not, listen, we want the players to be fit. We understand that we've been players. Players get injured. But we can't almost just say it doesn't matter that players are going down left, right and centre with injuries. The numbers are massive. And we haven't... Listen, we're not sports science. We haven't got an answer for that. We don't know the exact science of that right now. But you can't give me an answer. So something can't be right if there's 30% more injuries, muscle injuries this season than before.
Look, Liverpool win this league at a canter if they don't get injuries this season. They're by far the best team, and that's me. It pains me to say it. They are by far the best team. Let's be clear. I still think they'll win the league. They're stronger, they're quicker, they're hungry. He's got everything right there. The only risk to Liverpool winning the league is by picking up more injuries because obviously Van Dijk's been injured, Gomez has been injured. City have had Laporte and company and De Bruyne for the last few years, and they've coped with it some years and other years they haven't. The biggest risk to Liverpool is those injuries. So Jurgen Klopp wants 5 subs. He wants the better kick-off times for Liverpool Football Club. Just as my manager for 20 years argued, and that's why he was seen as somebody who, to be fair, was siege mentality, he wanted the benefit and the advantage for Manchester United. That's all Jurgen Klopp wants now. It's not a criticism.
Is that what Ollie wants?
Oh, absolutely wants. Of course he does.
Why didn't you do this on Ollie?
I thought you were going to leave it then
when Klopp on Saturday
when he said that Liverpool were going to win the title. Listen, we've got to go, otherwise we'll still be